Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and thank you for joining another scene for Edessa Season 2, The Dark Crusade. And our scene starts off with the one and only Cappadocian Ancilla, the Merchant of Bones, the resident good doctor of Edessa, um, having been, well, not really summoned, but asked to meet a particular La Sombra um, at Omar Shadid's shop, a shop that's been known for its neutrality of sorts. Something that the Merchant of Bones would have asked for. And the Merchant of Bones actually arrives quite early, um, and making good on his promise the last time he was here, actually, when he met with the good sister Madeline, also of Clan Lasombra, to peruse Omar's wares, excuse me. And he might actually buy an item or two, depending on what it is, because I don't exactly know what he actually sells, but I'm sure he'll find something of use. So, once he's settled, having taken his fill of the shop's goods, he finds himself sitting at a table, and he kind of just looks off into space, with the mask on and everything, that he's wearing, the typical plague doctor's outfit. Um, he kind of just looks like he's not looking at anything at all in particular. The mask doesn't move. He just kind of takes that renowned stillness that Canehards are renowned for, since their bodies don't really actually function without them giving actual input. So he just sits there, waits, and there's the occasional tap of his knuckles as he on the table as he looks towards the entrance, waiting for his guest.
Yep, Irene will arrive on time, and she'll go to the like the she'll go up because the private sections where we can talk without getting disturbed are like uh, on the first floor. I always get that mixed up because there's a difference between United States first floor and United Kingdom first floor. So, yeah, seriously.
So I'm assuming this is
So,
like the basement.
no, it's like,
Oh,
yeah, see, there you go.
so top floor.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
we go. That works. Yeah, it's one or the other.
There's like one floor above the store.
Okay.
So, yeah, she'll go upstairs and she'll knock on the door and then ever so slightly opens it. More or less first, like it just opening it to hear, like to hear if there are any voices because she would not want to interrupt any kind of conversations that might be going on there. And when she doesn't hear anything, she'll open the door fully and she'll step in. And as she spots the merchant of bones, she'll do that curtsy, um, where she manages to spread her skirts like almost in a full circle around herself.
hmm the Merchant of Bones will actually go to stand, and when she does her curtsy, he will actually give a small bow himself. If anything, not out of any kind of um, affirmation of maybe of her period and maybe like her stature, but more just out of just a small personal respect as a gentleman. um, and once he does that, he stands back up, and like I said, this man, he's actually a cripple, so um, he kind of like steps forward and has that slight limp about him, and he kind of just like um, holds his hand up and reaches out to touch her basically lightly on the shoulder, and kind of look. I'm assuming he's much taller than her because he's about like 6'5".
Yeah,
6'4".
he's definitely taller than she is.
Yeah, and he's basically as thin as his cane. Like he's literally like a walking almost skeleton with as thin as he is. And
Nice.
yeah, he has this muffled, thick Turkish accent about him. And he doesn't seem to speak real loud, but loud enough that you can hear him without a problem. And he just says, "Ah, Irene, it's good to see you again. How are you doing these nights?"
Pleasure is mine, entirely. As Irene will slowly rise from her curtsy. My nights have, well, been blissfully quiet lately. I hope yours have been the same.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, they have actually. Too quiet. I do honestly prefer a little bit of screaming. It makes things fun and interesting, and then it lets you know when you strike a nerve, especially when you're doing, surgery. But nights have gone well, and I'm glad for you to be having such tranquil evenings. Though I will say I must start off with a congratulations. I've heard about your rise to neonate.
Mm, thank you. I am still quite overwhelmed by it, to be honest. I'd not expect it to be so soon.
Just goes to show maybe hmm, how much promise you show. Excuse me. Though I am quite curious, your stature amongst the Kenites seem to carry more weight than a fledgling from fledgling than a neonate that I've seen before. Who exactly is your patron?
My sire is Prince of Timoran, Prince Ulrich, former Baron of Edessa.
And he kind of makes this aha gesture and points at her slightly with the head of his cane as he grips it by the neck. And he kind of like does a sidestep and holds out, kind of slides open a chair for her to sit if she would like.
Yeah, she'll take the seat.
hmm And once she takes a seat, he'll actually um, make his own way around to the other side and have a seat there at that side of the table. And he just eases in quite comfortably, as one could, assuming these are wooden, chairs in the Dark Ages.
I assume so too.
So, um, and he just kind of leans forward on his cane, putting his weight on it, um, and just looks at her again. The bird mask kind of indicating where he seems to draw his attention to with the with the point of the cone, on the face of it. Ah, so Ulrich of Timoran. Interesting. He seems like a mm, interesting fellow, none the least. He answered a summons I have sent to him. Well, not a summons, but a letter I sent to him requesting his aid, and he seemed to follow through with it for the most part. Quite thankful for that. You have a very, very um, prestigious sire, a courteous one at that.
I agree full heartedly. Even without his prestige, I consider myself blessed to be able to call myself his challenger.
As one should, especially with these nights and the kind of backing he seems to give you. It'll definitely help you go far with the Canites here, at least.
I do hope so.
Hope so as
Especially
well.
now, it is important to stay strong, both as clans, but also as our entire society, I'd say. Pray tell, how is your clan?
Hmm. Very good question. As you can see, we are quite. You are no. Excuse me. As you know, we are the ones known for being, the clan of death. Our roads tend to not allow us to show very much outward emotion. Um, though we seem to be taking things one night at a time. Considering our position before the night the prince was murdered, it has brought new perspectives upon us in which we must take into account and act on. It's going to be trying, none the least, and I have no doubt, though, that we will endure and hopefully flourish once again. I will make sure that, ironically, even if it's the death of me.
Well, I am not sure if it's any consolation for any Canaanites, but I will keep you in my prayers.
Hmm. That's appreciated. God knows I could use all the help I can get.
I'm sure he listens in some way.
Well, if you're praying, I certainly hope so. You're a very devout woman.
I try to live according to the Lord's words.
Do you find that troubling at all, considering your position in life?
I'm sometimes faced with many contradictions, yes. Mostly, though, they are out, outside sources. Our society is very much the same, but also so completely different from that of the mortals. It is easier for them, in a way. Not in every way, though.
No. I guess the difference is one of that of the sun and the moon in some respects. Their weaknesses are our strengths and vice versa. Though it seems
Yes.
to be the price we pay for leading the kind of lives we live.
But then again, as the sun revolves around the world, so does the moon.
That is very true. Yet they always seem to hide from each other.
Also true.
And that is why we tend to stay in the spaces in between, fighting for whatever we can manage to grab for our own and call our own, and until either somebody else takes it or we reach final death.
I would like to hope that there is more to our lives than simply trying to get the most.
I think
That must be.
everybody, I think everybody wishes for that. Though life is very much what you make of it, I believe. And you seem like you're doing well on that front, so, I don't think you need to pray on that much.
Perhaps, but I will still pray. As interesting as this philosophy is, I came here, well, I wanted to meet with you to talk about what has happened since we last and first saw each other.
Ah, yes. Have you had any more visions?
No, as I said, it's been very quiet. But I was hoping that maybe you have some insights on matters that concern this wishing woman.
Hmm. I know much about the wishing woman. The how much insight I can provide, well, I guess that depends on your questions. I
I'm
am
afraid mm,
I'm all ears though.
I am not even quite sure where to begin. I know nothing of her, but I think you would understand how everything that has happened has intrigued me, and I wish to learn more.
Hmm. Then I think I can say safely that we are both pining for something that we both want. I know much about the wishing woman, who she is, her her powers and her abilities. She's of my clan after all, but her motives beyond all this, the only thing I understand that she wishes not to be impotent anymore, but what exactly that means other than killing our prince or aiding in the death of my prince, our prince, I have no clue.
Mm,
I tried to play upon her somberness, her unease, her depression the night that she attacked, but I got nothing. Not surprising considering she's Cappadocian, but still, it's been something that has been eating at the edges of my thoughts for a while now.
as with mine, of course, the things I saw well, do not settle that unease. It merely increases it. It seems that we were merely this attack that destroyed all sense of unity in our city. It simply seemed like the next step in their plan. That's what I got from what I saw. It's part of something bigger. Trying to figure out what this bigger is so that we can stop it if necessary, which I think it is, in all honesty.
I agree. This is something that much time and preparation and very many decades, maybe even centuries, have been pondered upon and enacted through various means and measures to the likes that which someone like you or I could barely even scratch the surface to comprehend what exactly their goal is, or try to enact some kind of plan to maybe stop what they are doing. We might be able to throw some roadblocks or something to hinder it, maybe, but they just seem to overcome it as if it was nothing. They stand upon us like we are ants.
Yes.
They are doing something much bigger, but to what that is, I have no idea. And then I don't know if anybody does other than them.
I assume not, but there must be a way to find out. Looking into what they've done so far, what we know them for, what we know their persons to be, their personal history, where they come from. All these things form a person. That goes for canines as much as humans. Find that out, and we could find out their motives. And from their motives, we could learn a lot about their plans, hopefully.
Those are good ideas, yes. And trust me, I've thought about this and tried to enact some way to maybe beyond what my clan knows about the Wishing Woman, but maybe even, try to follow her or spy upon her, something. But everything that I try is rebuked. She is very potent in the ways of blood sorcery and much more advanced in matters of the blood and politics than I am. I too want the same information, and I'm willing to do what I can. But right now, everything I try to do comes up short, like grasping for a handful of sand and trying to keep it in the palm of your hand for most of it just to sift through your fingers. It is very frustrating.
Well, there seems to be someone who at least knows something, although I'm not sure if she was simply a figment of imagination or if she is a real individual somewhere.
And who exactly are you speaking of?
The paintress.
Hmm. I do not know of this paintress.
I only saw her in my vision, but she looked back at me. I could, although she did not speak, we sort of communicated. And I know I'm not the only one who saw her.
When hmm. Who else was there at the time? Is this that night
No
that
one.
you had that vision at Johanna's place?
Yes,
Ah,
but I know no one in that room has saw as much as I did. But I know of at least one other in the city who has seen maybe even more than I have.
and who is that exactly?
Malkavian.
Ah,
Sir Garrett? Garnet. Apologies.
Garnet. I am familiar with
Yes.
Garnet.
He knows more. He knows more than I do.
Hmm.
But the difficulty with these visions, as always, is that they don't come in clear facts. They come in riddles and not controlled when we want to. I think that is the same for him as much as for me.
Hmm. Yes, that seems to be the nature of visions. As wild as the breeze. But yes, Garnet. I will have to make sure to speak with him. I've not seen him since um, the night of the attack on Justinopolis Mount. I'll have to make sure I bump into him again to see if he knows anything else. Though, I believe I should be seeing him soon, so I'll make sure to ask him. And if I find anything, maybe I'll come to you and let you know what I find out. And maybe you can do the same for me if you come across any new information. Perhaps we can sort this puzzle out together.
That was my hope as well. I was, of course, not sure if you were willing to, well, deal with me, as I'm only a neonate, and, well, these nights are troubling for everyone.
Hmm. To the point, you're correct, though your apparent status that you hold and the truth about your propensity for strong visions is manifested on the same night that we met. Cannot refute that.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm content to work on this together with you. Though what the future holds, I cannot tell, but for now, I'm content with this.
Then I have a question.
Hmm.
How much did you see that night? Because from your words, I understand you were present.
Yes. That night, I saw blood dripping from her ceiling, and from the ceiling, the blood splashed upon the floor, from which the blood began to bubble and sizzle and spell out the words tomorrow.
I see.
But beyond that, that is about all I've got. There's nothing else I've seen,
Mm.
unfortunately.
And did you happen to be at the palace the next night?
Yes, I was there during the attack.
How much did you see there?
All of it. Two worlds became one. A ruler perished while two enemies stood atop of him and left with the crumbling palace in their wake.
Did you see what happened to Johanna?
Johanna crashed through the ceiling, upon which she punched through the floor we were on and down the subsequent floors. Beyond that, I don't know. All that I know now is that she seems to be okay, but she has fled the city.
Yes. I don't think that the tactician, as we call him, and the wishing woman are the only two connected. I think there are more.
I received a letter from Johanna speaking of some kind of boy,
Exactly.
so yes, I agree with you on that.
Garnet,
Though it's kind
as
of hard
you.
to go on a description of just a boy.
True, true. I know Garnet has seen the boy, from what she told me, in his vision, his sight. That proved to me that he was probably directly involved with them. I know in my vision, after I saw what you all saw, I saw paintings of first a tactician staring at our prince, who was depicted as a hanged man. His painting was covered in dust. And then next to the prince, there was a painting of the wishing woman with a foul beast in the background. Beast with, well, as I described to you, I believe, from my former vision. But opposite her was a figure dressed in shadows and tentacles. And this figure was the only one who looked back at me from these four paintings, the only one that seemed to register me.
Hmm. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I could not tell. I could imagine that shadows and tentacles might indicate a link to my clan. Sounds fairly logical. So perhaps that had something to do with it. But I'm not sure. I couldn't tell.
Hmm,
It
that would
didn't
make sense.
speak. Just looked at me. From there on, I found this paintress who was making yet another picture where I saw the attack happening on the palace, which I had already seen. It went further than that, but it became so confusing. Saw the city in both alive and flames and destroyed, different stages, but not in the right time. And there was an orb with 6 hands, 5 hands, and a tentacle.
Hmm.
This paintress also seemed to register me, which makes me think that she might be somewhere. She might be a clue to getting our answers. I wouldn't know where to start. Then there is another problem, though I'm not quite sure if they're tied together, but they have a link. Have you heard? I'm not sure. Have you happened to have heard the name Black Mary pop up somewhere?
Never, unfortunately.
Mm, I don't know too much about her, but I know she is a creature that my sire hunts, and I fear she's connected somehow, because she also is a creature of great power.
Hmm. So we don't know if she is canine or anything.
I, she's canite,
Hmm.
but I don't know much else. I know she's committed horrible crimes in Constantinople. I am not quite aware of the nature of these crimes.
I can only understand that that's where the city, where the dream was happening, if I remember correctly. Hmm.
Yes.
A lot of problems seem to come from Constantinople, it seems.
Are there more problems from Constantinople?
I just know the wishing woman came from there.
I see. Hmm. That does make it even more likely that they are tied one way or another.
Yes. I
Now,
almost. Hmm?
the difference between this Mary and the others is that they have moved on. But as far as I know, she stayed in the city for quite some time already.
Hmm. Stayed in Constantinople, you mean? Or stayed in
Mm-mm.
Edessa?
Stayed in Edessa.
Ah,
I think she's been here for half a year at least, if not a bit longer.
Black Mary. And she gone by no other monikers or names
Not
other
that I
than.
know. I could try and ask Ulrich, but He's sort of protective.
Does your sire have any information, books, anything about her at all?
I have not seen it. I know he has information, but I am not sure if that is on paper.
Mm,
Perhaps that is merely in his head.
would be safer that way. Hmm. Well, a name is a good start. I can poke around and see what I find based on the name. I cannot promise much, but I'll definitely try my best.
Be careful, because she is strong.
They're all strong.
Agreed. But if the rest of them have moved on and she has not, perhaps Ulrich would talk sooner to you. You are more experienced than I am.
Hmm, maybe. There is a Elysium coming up. Perhaps I'll take the chance to do so.
I would be happy to see you there.
It looks to be interesting, none the least. It'll be quite a time to see what the clans have to grieve and want for Edessa.
Well, I think grievances is something that they will have plenty.
Yes, sounds. Hope it doesn't go too long, otherwise it will get boring. And I hope they come with a prepared list and become straight to the point. But I do appreciate your sire's hospitality on the behalf of Edessa. I guess that it should be something expected for their previous prince.
Yes, I agree.
I'm quite surprised he still takes quite an interest in Edessa, though. I know he was once prince here, but still, I would think he would be more focused on the matters of his own city.
Timoran is small and quite peaceful.
Hmm,
But whatever hurts Edessa, well, we're not that far.
hmm. It is true, I guess. And how does Timuran get along so peacefully? What is your sire's secret?
If only I knew. I've stayed in Edessa most of the time.
Hmm,
As far as I know, it was already quite a peaceful town to begin with.
hmm.
We've managed to avoid the plague.
Wow.
And I actually think that on this thing, I may have to roll a subterfuge. Because Irene has an idea, although she's not quite sure how or why. But yeah,
Okay.
grab my dice. Manipulation, subterfuge. There are times when I don't like being such a.
Sneak, sneak.
No, she's not sneaky. She just has a very small dice pool because she's a neonate and lots of ancilla here with much larger dice pools. So yeah, she has 2 successes.
Let me see here. I don't know why I don't know my own stats, but
I know that feeling.
Oh yeah, yeah. I say he does get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
See what I mean? First me and my dice rolls. Okay, so she's holding something back, but she seems to be quite confused about it herself. Like she doesn't know if that actually is something or not.
Hmm. Are you hung up on something, dear?
Excuse me?
You seem like you wanted to say something, but what was it if you were hung up on something?
Oh, she kind of smiles apologetically. I Timoran holds something, but I cannot say exactly what that is. I don't even know if it has anything to do with it. And I'm afraid that that is some information that at this point I cannot share with you.
Hmm. Hmm. He just lifts his shoulder and gives a small shrug. I can respect that. And considering our relationship now, I will not pry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're most welcome. Well, it seems that Timorin seems to be a slice of heaven on earth, having to avoid such atrocities as the plague and being so peaceful. Very much a city to admire. I give Ulrich quite the credit for achieving such a feat. Now, if only Edessa might adopt the same principles.
That would be something.
Hmm. Well, you give me quite the fat to chew on, especially with that Black Mary. I'll put my mind to whatever I can, as I told you before, and if I find anything, and I promise to take care. I'd hate to disappoint you um, with an untimely death or become some kind of minion of this Black Mary. But
Oh,
if I find anything,
okay. There's gonna be another manipulation subterfuge there, but more to keep a straight face. Ay, ay, ay. Only one success.
all right, I'm curious now. I think I got one or two. Two? What's the diff?
Yeah, yeah, it's two.
Okay.
How to explain this? So, when you say become a, what did you say, a
A,
servant or
a minion?
a minion? There is a slight widening of her eyes, and yeah, sort of a nervous twitch at that.
Hmm. Are you okay? You seem to have some random twitch.
Mm, I would hate to see you lose your mind or the autonomy of your mind by her hands.
I would hate for anybody who decided to take it. They have quite a handful to deal with. But I'm quite strong of will. We'll see. But
Sometimes that is not enough.
hmm, are you speaking from experience? Perhaps you were touched by her, experienced her in a manner.
You seem to have a knack for, well, putting your finger on the sore spots.
I am a doctor, my dear. It is in my job description to poke at the sore spots. How else do we learn? We'll leave this on the table for now, I guess.
Please.
And he just lowers his head in a small bow of acquiescence. Fair enough. Like I said, for now. And then he stands. Was there anything else, my dear?
No, my lord. And she'll rise as well. I do thank you for the time you've given me, adhering to my request.
Hmm. It was no matter. I was quite looking forward to meeting you again. For somebody so apt and or somebody who shows the aptitude for visions as you do, well, I would love to hear more of what you might experienced or saw, whether it deals with this or not. Perhaps
I will
it'll
keep that in mind.
help me develop my own. I am quite the seer myself, but though for you, you show to see a certain kind of promise. And well, if that's something you don't mind indulging, well, I will certainly eat. Anyways, I'm going to go for now. And like I said, if I come across anything, I will write to you and ask to meet, and we can discuss things further.
I will do the same.
And he kind of just walks over and goes to reach out to, I guess, for her hand.
Yes, she'll give it.
Hmm. And he just kind of gives it like a small I guess kiss on the knuckle, like a gentlemanly thing. And
How does he do that, by the way? Question. Like, does he touch it with like the nose of his mask
yep,
or?
yep, exactly.
Oh, brilliant.
And yeah, um, and then if she's leaving too, he will obviously let her have her hand back, one, and then two, kind of like hold his hand out for the door, in which she will politely open it for her.
Yeah, she'll give a not so deep curtsy as when she entered, more like a polite thank you very much.
Hmm.
And yeah, she'll go through the door and yeah, we'll bid him farewell again and
Hmm.
leaves in the direction of the noble's quarters.
Sweet. And I think with that we can probably end our scene, huh?
Yes.
All right. Uh, Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good day.